speech, he would be an excellent representative for every constituency. And let me say what a privilege it is to be here with so many great people from all over the country on what is one of the great days, the election of Barack Obama as president. If you think that 40 years ago, in 1968 in America, people were being shot, people were being brutalized because of the color of the skin. If you think that Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King were assassinated in that year, and if you now think 40 years on, we have the first black president of the United States of America, we have the American people voting for him and voting for a party that believes in progressive. Martin Luther King used to say that the American Constitution was a promissory note. It was a promise that everyone would be treated equally, and that means that people from any background could be president. But he said that the check promising the benefits to the American black community had been returned with the words insufficient funds put on it. And now we can say with justification that the American Constitution of 1776 has been fully enacted by the election of Barack Obama. There's a story told about Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy. And remember that great famous inauguration address that we sometimes read that John Kennedy gave in 1960. And we will see a great inauguration address on January the 19th when Barack Obama gives it in Washington on that day. And Richard Nixon was asked, well, which bit of it would you like to have given yourself? Would you like to have said, the torch has passed to a new generation? He said, no. He said, would you like to have said, ask not what you can do for your country, ask what your country can do for you, ask what you do for you? He said, no. Would you like these great words, never negotiate out of fear, but never fear to negotiate? He said, well, which words in the presidential inauguration address would you like to have given? And he said, only these words. I hereby accept the nomination to be president. Let me also say, I'm pleased to be here with Keith Lars, who does so much work in both Parliament and in his constituency, and it's always a pleasure to visit. Dawn, who was very eloquent in her remarks earlier this evening to Ahmed, the first black woman minister in our government. Sadiq is here, and he was the first Western minister to attend Hajj, and I'm very proud that he's now a minister in the government and doing brilliant. Our Euro MPs here, and it is really important that we re-elect Euro MPs at the elections next year. And yes, it is true we haven't done enough. And it is true we must do more. And it is true that the equality of representation is not as it should be, and I am pledged to improve it over the next period of time. All that is true. But let us just remember that we have 13, the Tories have only 2, and the Liberals have absolutely none of black and Asian MPs. And we are going to do better, and we are going to do better at the next election. We have members who are going to be chosen in the constituencies that have already selected members of Parliament in Birmingham, in Glasgow, in London, and in Bolton, and we are determined to do better. And I pledge to you that part of my leadership is to increase the representation of black and Asian members of Parliament and in every area. You know this, that I'm very pleased that so many people from faith groups are here. I'm very pleased that I was able to be part of the Diwali and the Eid celebrations. I'm also pleased that as a government, at every point, even when we are pressed because of resources, that we have managed to increase international development aid to all the countries that need our support, and we will not let them down, because we, first of all, stand for justice, and justice particularly for people who have experienced unfairness, oppression, inequality, and are suffering in any way. whether it has been floods and earthquakes in Asia, or whether it's been conflict in Africa, or whether it's been trouble in any continent, in any place, we will always be there because of the influence you have on us, because of what you have said must be done for the whole world and for humanity. We will always be there.